Ford's electrification strategy is firing on all cylinders. First, the Focus Electric, and now this, the Ford C-Max, a hybrid-only model that's poised to take on the Prius V. The Ford C-Max has 50 more horsepower in total over the Prius V. That makes it a little bit more peppier, and while it won't take off at the lights, it's really nice to know that a hybrid still has the extra kick that you need. Now the Ford C-Max uses a CVT transmission. Now that makes for a very smooth drive, and I think it really helps with the fuel efficiency. And ride quality wise, it is a little stiff. It's got a bit of a sporty feel to it, almost European. Uphill, the C-Max kind of runs out of breath. You really got to push it at every opportunity. But still, it gets going, and you can enjoy some of these open spaces. Interior space is pretty nice. I've got a lot of headroom up here. I'm feeling pretty happy with the amount of space I have. Not only my head, my shoulders are nice, and I think you can fit some people in the back here without them having to complain too much. The Ford C-Max has a special cruise control setting called Eco Cruise. And what this does is it dials in all of these settings just right so that you get the most fuel efficient ride that you can. One of the cool features of the Ford C-Max is this liftgate. Imagine your hands are full, like mine are now. All you need to do is walk up to the back of the car and do a quick kicking motion. The trunk opens. I can load my stuff in. And close it and take off without having to take the key out of my pocket. Of course, this being a Ford product, it has my Ford Touch, this nice, beautiful touchscreen. Some of the problems of my Ford Touch still exist, but Ford has made one small change which I think is pretty important. Now there's redundant controls, actual buttons and knobs to control the stereo and climate control. So now you don't have to tap or slide to get the system to get your volume or your climate where you need it to be. One of my pet peeves in a lot of cars is the location of the trunk release. And here they didn't solve that problem. The trunk release is actually out of my view right now, behind the gear stick, right over here. I find that kind of tough and a difficult location, and you really have to know where it is. Of course, now I know where it is, but the first time I got in there, I was looking everywhere. I ended up using the key fob just to open the trunk. It's not very ergonomic in that sense. The Ford C-Max's steering wheel has a ton of buttons, and I find that a little distracting. We've got two directional pads here, both with input in the middle. We've got these paddles down here, one to cancel your cruise control and one to set off the voice activation. Then we've got the cruise control settings on this side. That's 3 buttons out here. And then we've got the volume and stereo as well as the phone control right over here. That's 4. However, one of the things that Ford got right is right here in the information cluster. Like other cars with the My Ford Touch system, we have these 2 gorgeous and bright LCD displays to the left and right of the speedometer. This car in particular has a special one called the efficiency leaves, which shows you how green you're driving with the number of leaves that you have in that screen. On the left side, I have a driving coach that ensures that I get the furthest on a single tank of gas. From the outside, the Ford C-Max looks a lot like a grown-up Focus, and that's because it shares the same platform as well as the kinetic design language. However, up front, I think these 3 grills is a bit too much, and I don't think it works in the C-Max's favor. The numbers are in favor for the Ford C-Max over the Prius V. It has more power, goes further on a single tank, has more technology, more room, and is cheaper. But it doesn't have the same brand recognition that the Prius has. Time will tell if the C-Max takes off with buyers just the same way the Prius did.